Good afternoon. I wanted to speak with you directly about the ongoing issues facing our electricity. First, thank you for your patience. I understand your frustration, and I certainly share it. I am upset with what is going on, but I am focused on channeling that frustration towards action to make sure that we're doing everything possible to keep your power on as much as possible. Here's the information you need to know. This evening, your power may go out, and it may not. Your power could be out for up to 2 hours before it comes on again. Tomorrow morning and afternoon, it could go out again. The cycle will likely continue for a number of days, perhaps longer. Until Maritime Electric fixes their substation, you should prepare for possible outages, particularly during peak times of 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. You should also do what you can to reduce load across our system during those times. This situation will remain uncertain, like it is now, until Maritime Electric fixes their broken substation. For the next few minutes, I'm going to try and speak with you to explain a little bit about why we are where we are, provide you with some more details about what we're doing and what that means for you as a resident, and offer some suggestions on ways you can help as well. This situation is not your fault, and it's not the fault of the province or the city of Summerside either. This is a fault of critical equipment owned and operated by Maritime Electric that is part of an increasingly too fragile electrical grid here in PEI. On February 10th, a 50 megawatt Maritime Electric transformer located at their Sherbrooke station had a major failure. At this point, we have no idea how long it will take Maritime Electric to fix it. Now, you may be wondering what that has to do with your electricity here in Summerside. We own our own utility, and that's a good question. The city of Summerside does own our own electric utility, and we do a pretty good job at it. We buy electricity from New Brunswick Power, but we don't own the transmission lines that connect the city of Summerside to the underwater cables that bring that electricity to Prince Edward Island. Maritime Electric controls who gets to plug in to those underwater cables. They own the transmission lines that go right through Sherbrooke on their way into Summerside. For years, Maritime Electric has successfully restricted the city of Summerside from getting direct access to those undersea cables. Those cables are owned by the province of Prince Edward Island. They are, in my opinion, a public asset whose access is controlled by a private company. If our publicly owned utility here in Summerside had direct access to those cables, today we would be supporting a fragile grid, not at the mercy of it. Since Sherbrooke went down, the city of Summerside has been generating all the electricity we can through our diesel generators and our solar farm. Without our solar farm and our diesel generators, we would likely be in the middle of rolling blackouts already. So far, we have been storing that electricity that we're gathering in our battery and deploying it at peak times. We've also continued to receive power from New Brunswick Power across Maritime Electric's transmission lines. Maritime Electric has been finding ways to continue to transmit power across the grid, but it remains very touch and go. This is why things seem as they actually are, uncertain and changing. It is, I think, what some of us would call a fluid situation. After the outage on Monday morning, Maritime Electric gave us access to enough power, over 25 megawatts, and our lights were able to stay on Monday evening. On Monday evening, though, we closed the Credit Union Place and other city facilities to reduce our pressure on the grid. We believe that reduced pressure reduced our load by approximately 1 to 2 megawatts. That's important. When we close our Credit Union Place and our city facilities, we do so with great hesitation. We do not want to keep kids away from their hockey practices or their figure skating or the walking track or their gym. But we need that power to make sure that your home stays on. Yesterday afternoon on Tuesday, Maritime Electric advised us that they would be reducing the electricity that they were able to transmit to us to potentially as little as 2 megawatts. Think about that for a second. The day before it was 25, and we got a phone call yesterday afternoon that said it's going to be down to 2. So we immediately began the process of again closing all city facilities and preparing for rolling blackouts across the city. We began informing residents so that you could start to get prepared. But then at 5 p.m., Maritime Electric called us back and said they were now going to be able to find enough transmission to get us the electricity for the evening, and your lights stayed on. Today is Wednesday, February the 12th, and we've been told today by Maritime Electric that there should be enough transmission and power to keep the power on this evening. But conservation efforts must remain in place and are necessary. This is particularly the case because the wind, something that blows frequently here in PEI, is low to none. I'm frustrated. This uncertainty is difficult for us, and I know it is very much for you. So tonight we will once again be closing non-essential municipal facilities and cutting all non-essential power that we have control over, and asking others to do the same. This will reduce pressure on the electrical load that we have. Our generators will run for our water and sewer, our police and fire, and those essential services will never be disrupted. In the event of blackouts, we will ensure that the electrical circuit that the Prince County Hospital is on always remains on. Today we've been charging our massive battery again with solar power, and we'll be turning it on as the sun goes down. We'll charge it again in the middle of the night using our diesel generators so that we can deploy that electricity in the morning. We'll continue to be burning diesel at all of our generators running at full tilt. This will cost Summerside residents approximately $100,000 more a day than it would if we were purchasing the electricity, if we were receiving the electricity we purchased from MB Power. When the wind blows, though our forecast, as I said, for tonight, particularly from about 4 p.m. till 11 a.m. tomorrow, suggests that there will be little to no wind. But when it does, our windmills and the windmills across PEI will continue to feed into our local grid and the rest of the grid, easing some of the pressure and adding to that energy mix. We are ready if we need warming shelters, as we have been for a few days, but our goal remains to make sure that something like that is not necessary. If we do begin shutting off circuits, we'll remain prepared to be able to do so, and we'll do it in a consistent manner. If your power goes out, it will be out for approximately 2 hours, and this should only occur during peak times, which are after work or early in the morning. We'll continue to work flat out on our end until Maritime Electric fixes this. We'll continue to update residents through all available media channels. I've been in regular contact with the Premier and the Minister of Energy. They are aware of the outages and how those impact provincial infrastructure and services, whether they are long-term care homes or schools. They have been incredibly supportive and share our concerns. We work very well with them, and our operational staff continue to be in constant contact. I've also been in regular contact with Maritime Electric. We'll continue to encourage them to find solutions to the problem, to break down old barriers so that islanders can be safe, warm, and have better energy security in the time ahead. But they cannot be the only ones holding the keys to our energy security any longer. These are important discussions for another day, but they can't be put off for long. We here in Summerside will continue to have all hands on deck at the city to keep you safe and warm. We'll keep the power rotating across the city when it does, and if it does go out, so that you are not without power for very long. We'll continue to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And here's what we need from you. You can help. We're asking you to cut your electrical use between approximately 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. as much as you can. Turn off your outdoor lights, run your dishwasher, dryer, or something else later at night, or ideally in the middle of the night if you have time settings on appliances. Run alternate non-electric heat sources if you have them. Check in on the people you know, especially those that are living alone or vulnerable. It can be scary when a house gets cold, and that cold can impact seniors and vulnerable populations more. So give them a call. If your house is without power and you notice that others around you have the lights on, give us a call at the city and we'll get someone out to fix it. Sometimes when you have rolling blackouts, fuses can blow and an individual house can remain dark. This is something none of us want to do, but these are things we can do to help our neighbors and our city in the coming days. I know many people across PEI have had enough, and I certainly have. I know many of you are worried about the pace of electrification of our energy security. I certainly am as well. These are important challenges to tackle, and ones we have been taking on here in Summerside by building grid resilience, increasing local generation, and investing in key, robust infrastructure. We're ahead in many ways here, but we are always catching up in others. These are big, important discussions that we have been having and will need to have more of. Everything must be on the table and everyone must be welcome at that table. But right now we need to understand what we can do to help each other and do just that as we continue to work our way through this period of uncertainty. So thank you, residents, for your patience. Thank you to our staff for having all hands on deck. Thank you to the businesses and individuals who are helping reduce our electrical load across the city. What we will be doing next is providing regular updates at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. each day. And where necessary, I'll provide a video update that will be shorter than this one on the key points. So be safe, be warm, and hopefully you'll have your power throughout the rest of the evening. But if you don't, sit tight and it will come back on. We'll see you tomorrow for a shorter update. Thank you.